Right, you lot, and first of all, Bayern Leverkusen just won the Bundesliga. What? Bloody hell, you've got to feel bad for Harry Kane, man. A guy so deprived of trophies, his cabinet consists of just 1 metre in the pool that he swam when he was like 7 and I don't know, his sports day medals. Goes to a one-team league that have won 11 on the bounce. He walks out and he doesn't win the Dead Cert trophy. Because Bayern Leverkusen became the best team in the bloody world. And I don't actually want to ridicule Bayern because they weren't that bad this year, really. Yeah, they kind of were embarrassing in moments, but they actually had more points than this time last season. It's just last season the competition was not there, whereas this year it was. So congratulations to Bayern Leverkusen on winning a title. But let's talk of not winning titles. Arsenal and Liverpool. We went from a 3-horse race to a 1-horse race in a matter of hours. I saw people doing all these fixture predictions on YouTube where they say, oh, Crystal Palace at home, that's a guaranteed 3-point. It's not, it doesn't work like that. I can't believe they're about to do Fulham. Now, you could be saying, well, there's only 2 points in it. If Man City lose a match and Arsenal and Liverpool, if either one is able to win all of their matches, then they will win the league. But the issue is, City arguably have the easiest last 6 games. 6 games, but bar Tottenham, you'd expect them to steamroll every opponent. And both Arsenal and Liverpool just absolutely capitulated. Start with Liverpool, because arguably they're more embarrassing than Arsenal. You played the team with Will Hughes in midfield, with Nathaniel Klein at right back, a guy who you binned off from your own club in 2018, and he was making your wingers look like absolute tadpoles out there. We just we're not good enough today. That was not a champion's mentality. That was not what it feels like to win. And they really tried near the end. They really brought the tempo up, but it just was not enough. I mean, some of the chances that were being missed in that game, the likes of Curtis Jones's chance, the one that Salah had, the one that Jota had. I mean, these chances, 9 times out of 10 they're scoring them. So you could call it unlucky, but then you could also say it's Anfield. The crowd were not good enough as well in both games. And in 4 days, Liverpool have gone from potential treble winners to having a celebration for the Energy Drinks Cup. It doesn't sound very exciting, does it? Now, Arsenal, you had everything going for you. You were setting the world alight. Everyone thought you were dead and buried when you lost back-to-back away games to Fulham and West Ham after winning the top of Christmas trophy. And then somehow you brought it back. You beat Liverpool in amazing fashion, and you had the chance to destroy Man City, and you sat off and played pretty much ping-pong in their garden and let them absolute steal out a draw, when you really should have been in the ascendancy and you could have won that game. Similarly, Liverpool also could have beat Man City if Luis Diaz actually knew how to shoot, but that was a story. So I think both of these teams will only be frustrated because there's been many games for both of them this season where they could have won, where they could have done something, and it's not going to happen. If we look at teams that they've got left to play, Liverpool still have to go to Goodison Park, a ground that really do not want to see Liverpool win the Premier League, let's just say. And also, they need to worry about their own safety. That would be a very tough match. Fulham away next weekend, in the confidence that Liverpool have right now, that could very well be another case of today. And going away to Aston Villa, who, they've been inconsistent, Villa, this season, and especially they've had rough form lately, but that's going to be very difficult. And then Tottenham, of course, Liverpool's record against the Big Six in the Premier League this season. The only team they beat is Chelsea. And is that really an achievement? Sorry, Chelsea fans there. Whereas Arsenal have to play the North London derby against Tottenham, a team, again, who really do not want to see Arsenal lift the Premier League. They got to go to Old Trafford in the second to last game week, and Ten Hag might be sacked if they lose that, so they're going to be up for it. And they've got to play Chelsea, a team who tend to show up against the Big Six this season. Even though I did just discredit them a minute ago, but You know, I mean, Arsenal have difficult games, and even a game like Wolves away next weekend in bad confidence. And you've got to keep them on the Champions League as well, is a big thing, because I expect Arsenal will actually beat Bayern, even though they've got to go away. I think they will get through that, and that's going to be a major thing. Of course, City also would be favourites, considering they're going to be at home in the Champions League, so you could say that could play into it, but I just don't see how City lose. I think the Tottenham game, City could lose, but I don't see how Liverpool and Arsenal get perfect points out of the last 6 games they've got, and I really think that this weekend was the opportunity for them to make a stample, and especially Arsenal, to see Liverpool lose in embarrassing fashion and to not capitalise is going to cost them the league title. And as for Liverpool, Will Hughes in midfield. Will Hughes. Come on, man. The only thing you'd say that Liverpool may have the advantage on is that there's no way they're getting past Atalanta in that second leg. Like, they might as well send the under-16s to go play that one. There's no way away to score 3 unanswered goals with that defence. There's no chance. So having less games than Man City could contribute, but at the same time, do you really back them? I think the Liverpool team honestly look exhausted. I think I watched that team, and the injuries that they've had this season, you know, there's been times where they've had to be playing kids in cup finals, for example, and it's been, I think it's starting to really catch up, and I think certain key players are not in the form. Mo Salah, since he returned from injury, has not been at his best. He's still been, you know, showing the numbers, but it's clear if you on the eye test that he's not been delivering. Similarly with Virgil van Dijk, who's been poor in the past 2 games, despite having a really good season up until that point. And as for Arsenal, I think Gabriel Jesus is just not clinical enough, and likewise with Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, they score their goals, but I think Arsenal have been built off a great defence this season, and that defence has really delivered some great stuff for them. But there's only so much the defence can hold on to, and I think when it's really mattered at times, that's when Arsenal's faltered. Man City do not deserve to win it this year. They really don't, and it's going to be a shame when they do, because they've been really poor this season. Based on their period best, their summer transfer, they got it wrong, and there's been a lot of games where they've been there for the taking. They've not looked at the same level they've looked in previous years. They've not looked that machine that can destroy everyone, but they played Crystal Palace at home, and they played Villa at home. The 2 fixtures that were lost today, and do you want to know what the scorelines were? Both matches finished 4-1. Despite conceding early on to Crystal Palace, similar to Liverpool, Man City were clinical enough and were able to absolutely roll over Crystal Palace. I think it was 4-2 actually in the end. Edouard, I think, scored a late consolation, but you know what I mean. And against Villa, I guess the Villa's team were weaker, and that's the argument that the Arsenal fans will make, that, well, they were playing a weakened team, they were full strength, but Man City made Villa look useless. They beat them 4-1. These 2 opponents just stunned Liverpool and Arsenal today, and that is going to be the cutting edge. Man City have the history. And the only thing that Liverpool had going for them was that it's Klopp last season. And unfortunately, he is probably going to leave Anfield. Of course, he did win a league title, did win a Champions League and FA Cup, 2 League Cups, but he's going to leave more of a what-if case instead of a what he did do, and the trophy cabinet will never reflect what he actually brought to the club, which is a real shame. Which, when you are up against 150, okay, I'm not going to bring up 115 in this, because 115 is not the reason that Liverpool couldn't beat Crystal Palace, but it does need to be mentioned. So that is the wrap up for the title race, and if Man City don't win the Premier League from this point, I'll get a Batman tattoo. And I'm serious there. If Man City don't do it, so yeah, I will see you lot soon.